From cosmology to compassion, a unified spirituality for all. The Heart Nebula is a beautiful symbol of the call for compassion that emerges from the story of our creation. The story that we tell evokes awe and reverence, but even more importantly, it offers hope to a world filled with chaos and conflict. In the beginning, there was no universe. All that existed was a spirited entity that physicists call a quantum field. A quantum field is restless energy with no form, which exists beyond space and time. It morphs and changes all the time. We will playfully refer to the primordial quantum field as cosmic spirit. Spirit had to choose one out of a trillion possibilities to transform into, and it chose one that held within it a possibility to one day give rise to colorful butterflies, radiant flowers, stirring poetry, and soulful music. Why it chose this beautiful dream is a profound mystery to us. But realizing this dream would require audacity, perseverance, and good fortune. As we will see, Cosmic Spirit's journey to achieve its dream is undoubtedly the greatest story ever uncovered by humans. Butterflies need space to fly in, time to live their lives in, and atoms to give them form. 13.8 billion years ago, in a fiery blast that sent time rushing forward, the spirit transformed its energy into a ball of space filled with particles and light. This fireball started expanding and cooling right away. But trouble was already brewing in the first millionth of a second after the Big Bang. Matter comes in pairs of particles and antiparticles. As the fireball cooled, particles were being fiercely annihilated by the antiparticles. The dream might have ended before it even began. But cosmic spirit is creative. Its restless fluctuations broke the symmetry to create one extra particle for every 10 billion pairs of particles and antiparticles. The leftover particles are what make up our whole universe today. Creating butterflies needs smart ways to assemble particles into new forms. Spirit is equipped with a self-organizing power that can aggregate matter to bring out qualities that cannot be found in any of its parts. The magic of creative emergence is the secret that lies at the heart of our universe story. Within a thousandth of a second, quark particles clumped together to form protons and neutrons. 3 minutes later, protons and neutrons linked together to form the seeds of hydrogen, helium, and a few other light atoms. Expansion was now slowing down. It took 400,000 years for the seeds to pull in electrons to make full-bodied atoms. Atoms can absorb, exchange, and emit energy, qualities that are critical to life. Cosmic Spirit was getting excited again. The coming together of atoms also freed the photons of light that were trapped in clouds of particles. It's as if cosmic spirit cried, "Let there be light," and there was light. It was the accidental discovery of this light in 1965 that helped us piece together the story of our universe. To create life requires more than hydrogen and helium. What were needed were stars, inside which hydrogen atoms can fuse into heavier ones. Self-organizing power went to work again, using gravity to compress hydrogen into stars. By 100 million years, bright shining stars started popping up everywhere in the cosmos. Spirit was celebrating. All the atoms required to assemble the molecules needed for life were now available. But something was not right. The cores of stars are too hot for atoms to link up into molecules. What was needed was the warm belly of a planet, where molecules can assemble away from the harsh rays of stars. But for this to happen, stars must die and change back into gas. Now, stars do run out of fuel and explode. But the amount of dust after one generation of stars is too small to form planets. To create more dust, the released gas must be compressed back into stars again and again. But this can only happen in the gyrating arms of a spiral galaxy. Now, gravity can cluster stars into galaxies, but once again, stars alone don't have enough gravity to make galaxies. This was looking quite hopeless. Was it the end of the dream? Spirit wondered. How could self-organizing power pull all of this off? But wait a second. Hanging there along with the gas were globs of a special kind of matter made in the Big Bang. It cannot form atoms, but it does have gravity. It's called dark matter, and it saved the day. There was just enough of it to cluster the stars into galaxies. 500 million years after the bang, our universe was filled with billions of beautiful spiral galaxies. It took a lot of gas recycling to build up enough dust so that planets could finally form. After 4 billion years, each new star was born with a family of planets buzzing around it. The number of planets in the universe kept growing with time. 9.2 billion years after the bang, which is 4.6 billion years ago, a new star called Sun took birth in a spiral galaxy called the Milky Way. It had 8 planets going around it, and the third one, called Earth, had a molten core that was just right for life molecules to assemble in. Cosmic Spirit had delivered a planet ready for life. Earth Spirit would have to complete the rest of the journey to the dream. A new problem was already on the horizon. Going from molecules to butterflies takes billions of years. Dark matter's gravity was rapidly slowing down the expansion of the universe. The universe would shrink and collapse on itself before any advanced life had a chance to take hold. What saved the universe from another possible dead end was dark energy. It is an anti-gravity force that grows in strength with expansion. It was just strong enough to prevent a collapse. A millionth of a percent less dark energy could not have stopped the collapse. A millionth of a percent more would have ripped the universe apart too quickly. The path to the spirit's dream takes a very delicate balance to achieve. 4.2 billion years ago, self-organizing power fused the mineral in Earth's interior into organic molecules. Volcanic activity churned them up to the surface. A medium was now needed for the molecules to come together to make living cells. Aha! Water! But alas, the heat of Earth's formation had evaporated its water into space. Self-organizing power finds a way around every obstacle. Comets contain lots of frozen water in them. Outer planets kept slinging comets towards the Earth until, by 4 billion years ago, water had filled our vast oceans. Earth Spirit was smiling. Life could finally evolve. 3.8 billion years ago, biomolecules near deep sea hydrothermal vents self-organized into bacteria, the first living cells. They self-replicated using DNA, and they extracted energy from their surroundings to propel themselves forward. Competition for limited resources became a new self-organizing power in the hands of Earth Spirit. The evolutionary pressure of natural selection can shape life into new forms. 3.5 billion years ago, the pressure to find more abundant sources of food led some bacteria to find a way to create energy from water using the sun's light. Photosynthesis releases oxygen, which was extremely toxic to all the life forms at that time. In the beginning, most of it was absorbed by minerals in water and on the surface. 2.7 billion years ago, a shift in Earth's landmass created shallow waters where sunlight can penetrate. Ocean floors everywhere were matted with colonies of cyanobacteria, pumping oxygen into water and air. It was a ticking time bomb. 2.4 billion years ago, oxygen levels in oceans became so high that almost all life on Earth was destroyed. It was the first mass extinction. Was this the end? Earth Spirit wondered. Miraculously, a few bacteria stumbled on a way to use oxygen to generate energy, turning toxicity into nutrition. Eureka! Oxygen respiration generates 18 times more energy than any other mechanism. Bacteria that couldn't use oxygen found themselves under even greater pressure. They started eating other bacteria for energy. Horrifying as it may sound, predation created yet another life-shaping pressure. Life forms now had to find ways to protect themselves from predators and get smarter at catching their prey. 2 billion years ago, a non-oxygen using bacteria swallowed ones that did. But instead of digesting them, it let them set up shop inside the cell to keep supplying it with energy. The result was a eukaryotic cell, the building block of all plant and animal life today. Using subtle pressures and cataclysmic shifts, our planet was moving life forward, while life in turn was changing the very face of the planet. The magic of Earth Spirit was at work, bringing its dream closer to realization. The extra energy allowed eukaryotes to communicate and cooperate with each other. Single cells improved their survival chances by giving up independence to take on special functions that benefit the whole organism. 700 million years ago, the first soft-bodied multicellular organisms covered the sea floors. Cooperation was becoming an important life-shaping force, in addition to survival of the fittest. Earth Spirit was now locked in an evolutionary dance with Sun Spirit. Life used sunlight to oxygenate Earth's atmosphere. The Sun baked the oxygen to create an ozone layer, which protects life from the Sun's own harmful rays. Earth's geological upheavals and climatic rhythms applied survival pressures to shape and advance life. 540 million years ago, there was an explosion in the diversity of life on Earth. 4 more mass extinctions were yet to come, each one giving the species that survived increased room to advance in new directions. Cosmic evolution walks a perilous tightrope between success and failure. What keep it going are the constant presence of a creative spirit and the continuing unfolding of self-organizing power. Creative emergence is at the heart of all cosmic growth.
And just as elements came together to create new emergent qualities, and cells came together to create new organisms, animals came together and developed unique qualities. Through the struggle of the evolution of life, we think of the survival of the fittest individual, a harsh view of life. But within this is the spirit of the universe, holding all of life with the same power as that of the cosmos, the power to come together, to create new cooperation. 400 million years ago, as animals moved from water to land, breathing in and beginning qualities that would be necessary for compassion, a new level of parental caring emerged as some groups cared for their eggs. Then reptiles, with increased bearing of live offspring, led to an enhanced sociability. And intelligence developed, with adaptations which were brought to a new level as communication and problem-solving skills expanded to a coordinated group hunting. This innate development expanded over years to include emotional connections as social collectives emerged with small mammal development. Suddenly, a catastrophe happened that would allow humans to develop, the asteroid collision of 65 million years ago, leading to the extinction of the dinosaurs and other large reptiles. This opened the path for new mammals to emerge. Larger mammals developed and now flourished, and began to have cooperative living, often with hierarchies, giving rise to a beginning sense of self-worthiness as the ability to act successfully, self-confidence, and courage increased survival as alpha males became leaders and members with specific roles enhanced survival. Hormones were emerging to influence strong attachment as emotional responses of mammals intertwined with the beginning of altruistic cooperation. And with this came the beginnings of caring and helping others of their group. At this point, a remarkable challenge occurred, a period of intense survival pressures, maybe with climate change of an ice age 150,000 years ago, or a supervolcanic eruption. At one point, it is estimated that 90% of what was to be humanity died. We call this a bottleneck of evolution. Let us imagine how this occurred. We are living in one of those bottlenecks, in the cauldron of humanity, Africa. We are part of a band of 150 to 200 hominids, not yet human. We have fire, and we have basic tools for use and protection. We can communicate, but not yet with language. We live about 20 years. We have children. About half of all those born die in childhood. Our group needs 20 newborns per year to survive, and about 1/4 of our group are children. Almost 1/2 of all women are pregnant each year. And we are threatened every day for survival: climate and severe weather, predators, accidents, illness, childbirth, and famine. Every one of us has a job, a role, and position, almost like bees in a beehive, with the workers, the queen, and the drone, only more developed. As we have skills, we may be a hunter, gatherer, firekeeper, food preparer, toolmaker, builder, or child carer. You have become competent to survive. You feel good about yourself. You are confident. And what has us and the others survive is compassion, working together for all of our fellow kindred brothers and sisters. Compassion so strong that it overpowered individual self-interest and competition of individuals. We all worked together, all were connected. We felt it when another was injured or lost, like we feel grief now when a loved one is lost. All were fully alive, actively doing what had to be done in a short life, like we feel enthusiasm now. You knew your role, your job, your place, as there was little conflict, as compassion created peace, created unity. We all had a purpose together. There was meaning in what we did. There were times of happiness, of joy, of fear, of pride, of laughter, of sadness, of shame and guilt, as you were more attached to social acceptance. Every emotion we could possibly have. Connection, aliveness, wholeness, peace within our group, meaning and purpose. Everyone felt worthy of being a part of this. This was spirituality with compassion, love, and caring. These characteristics were built into everyone, into our being through our genes, into our brains and our bodies, and in our culture. Evolution brought forth this spiritual core in every one of us. Our success gave us confidence and beginning self-worth. Compassion had emerged. The only ones that made it had this compassion and spiritual connectedness, as the universe expressed compassion through us and all that would later become humanity. We then moved from Africa to all regions of the world. As we moved with more challenges and opportunities, our brains grew tremendously. We developed language. We grew stronger in courage, willing to give our lives for the good of others, and eventually, with consciousness and reason, the ability to make wise choices, the true uniqueness of humanity was born, with compassion, courage, and reason, the core of human dignity, what we honor most about being human. Our success with our human brain took center place, doing things, growing crops, building, creating villages and towns, and eventually cities over the last 40 to 50,000 years, all of modern known history. All of our various religions and civilizations developed. And as our glorious cultures developed, there were also many things in these cultures that came to divide and separate us. We must now come together again to rediscover and reconnect with and celebrate this common compassion, this love for one another, the source, the earth, the spirit we all have in common. Everyone took with them the same experience, compassion, spirituality, worth, and human dignity. This is why spirituality and later religion is found in all human beings everywhere, in all of us. Compassion and spirituality is why we survive. It saved us once, and now it can save us again. Think about it. We are all creations of the universe. We have been given the grace of life by our planet Earth from the life-giving spirit of the universe. We barely made it, but it gave us the greatest experience of life, the power of compassion and spirituality and love. What makes us uniquely human among all other life? Come join us now. Time to celebrate all of the cosmos and the gift that we have been given as we reconnect with the compassion, spirituality, and love that is our birthright. Once again, for the survival of humanity and of this wonderful earth. We came from the universe, and the universe comes through us. Amen.